EDC, everyday carry. It's the items that you carry with you on an everyday basis because you tend to need those type items. Our phones, keys, wallet or billfold, pocket knife, flashlight, firearm. People carry a lot of different things and it's very personal. But one thing about EDC is that it's really grown over the past few years and there's a lot of companies that are producing, some really cool stuff that you really don't think about, customized things, different emergency type tools that you might need in really nice materials. This is a titanium O-tool. It's great for the car. And there are things that just come up. And if you're like me, before I carried a flashlight, I didn't really see a need to carry a flashlight. Once I started carrying one, I use it all the time. And so there's so many things that just make your life better. So today we're going to take a look at some items from Obuy. This is a sister company to Olight, and their focus is EDC items. And they're bringing on a lot of different, very unique, but very useful things. One thing that they're really good about is getting a lot of smaller companies here in the USA to produce certain items for their store. And they're really featuring those items. And so you can really find some stuff that's handcrafted or that you're not going to find in a lot of your big box stores. So it makes it a nice place to be able to go, and they're adding things all the time. Now they're having their Black Friday sale, and it starts November 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to November 27th at midnight. So it's a nice long time to be able to make some decisions and some choices. I'll have a link down below in the description. It is an affiliate link, and it's a 10% discount using Sootch00 during non-sale events. So if it's on sale, the discount won't work, but you'll get better savings. Just some cool items to be able to take a look at and just add an update to your EDC. Now guys, we have a lot of different things to look over. We're going to do it fairly quickly. One of the things about this particular set of tools is there's a number of emergency tools in here. A lot of times we do carry our knives and our flashlights, different things like that, multi-tools. Some of these are really designed as a tool to be able to use in an emergency. But we also have some other cool stuff as well. We're going to get started with a knife. That's a big part of EDC. And here we have the Knife Sentry. This is the L2. It's a very lightweight knife. In fact, it weighs 2.82 ounces. And we'll take a look at why in a minute. It does have the Tanto style blade, which makes a very strong tip. D2 steel, which is tool steel, excellent steel quality. And then you have some serrations right here, so it just gives you that extra bite to be able to cut through, especially like rope, corded things like that. It makes it a little more easy. We have the G10 scales, which honestly, they're not smooth. They have a nice aggressive feel to it. And I like that. It's almost like a mix between micarta and G2. So I really like the scales. It's super lightweight, mainly because the liner lock is just an insert here all the way through the side, but on the other side, it's just the G10. And so it just gives it a very lightweight feel. Ceramic ball bearings make this super easy to glide out. And one thing too is with the guards and the flipper, it just gives you a point here with your thumb to be able to cut if you need to bear down, and yet the other side gives you a guard to keep you from slipping onto the blade. The more I mess with this knife, the more I just really like it. We have a deep carry pocket clip, which can be switched to the other side. There's no lanyard hole necessarily, but honestly, I don't put lanyards on my knives anyway. But it is a liner lock, and it just comes down very smooth, which I find all the O knives do that. The blade length is 3.25 inches in length. Overall, it's 7 3/4 inches long. It does come with a small case, which you can just put this away, and then it comes with a patch. Now, a lot of these actually come with a challenge coin, so it's just according to how they do it. Sentry L2, we're going to do a little sharpness test. Ooh, I like that. Now, emergency tools are very important, and O-Tool has a number. This is the titanium emergency tool. It's really great for your car. It's great for an emergency kit, for your trauma kit, medical bag. It has a knife And this is 154 cm. It's 2 inches in length. It has more of a Wharncliffe or almost a sheep's foot, which is great when you're cutting clothes. Sometimes you don't necessarily cut the person, you know, if you're having to examine a wound or something. But it's also really sharp. We'll take a look at that. It does have a liner lock right here, and it just gets it solid. And then on this side, we have a seatbelt cutter. Now this also has a bottle opener. It has a couple of flat spaces here for screwdriver, and it's just a really solid tool. Of course, this is also 154 cm. And then we have a lanyard loop here at the back. One of the things about it though, a lot of times when I see these kind of seatbelt cutters, they just don't work. So we're going to test this one out. We have some seatbelt material to check it. Now some actual seatbelt material. A lot of times these cutters will not cut through seatbelt material. And so we're just going to give it a little bit of tension. This thing cuts like a dream. As far as sharpness, oh yeah. Now the O'Toole Titanium is one of the smaller ones, and this is the emergency whistle. This has a few extra features, but yet it's much smaller. Here we have a 1-inch blade, comes right out, has a spring lock right here, and then on the other side we have a seatbelt cutter. Also we have a flathead screwdriver. Right here we have a lanyard loop. We have a carbide tip on the end to break glass, and we have a whistle. And so we're going to try this whistle out. Yep, that'll work. This tool here actually has a lot more features, but this has a little more capability, a little bit larger. I really like this tool in particular. But either one of these that are in a car, in a med kit, they just really work well. Now we're going to try the little baby, see what he does. Excellent. And then we have the little baby. Yeah, it's really sharp. These tools go great in a small emergency kit and a trauma kit because one of the problems too is if you need to get to a wound or there's an injury, you can actually cut clothes using the seatbelt cutter. And it's much better than using a standard knife. Even though the Wharncliffe design is really better for that sheep's foot, it really helps to be able to not cut who you're trying, not cut the person, but just cut the clothes. So again, made from titanium, excellent little emergency tools. And since we're on emergency tools, this is the O'Tackle S1. Now this is an unusual looking tool, but you do have your seatbelt cutter. You have a carbide tip right here on the end to break glass. You have a pry bar, which really can come in handy if you are trapped or you need to move something, and pry bars have become very popular. We do have a wrench area right here that's stepped, so you can take bolts and you can actually turn them, and it gives you enough width and length to be able to get some leverage on it. Of course, an area right here for your finger has kind of a matte finish on it. This is made from 50 CR 15 MOV steel. It's 6 1/4 inches in length. It weighs 1.42 ounces. Very lightweight, yet it's very strong. And then it does come with a sheath. The sheath just pops it down in there, and now you're protected. You have a small clip. I really like that clip with the Kydex, and you even have some lanyard holes here. It fits really well in here, and it retains it really well. But it's going to stay in there. But with the sheath, it weighs 2.45 ounces. So a great tool, again, to have in your vehicle. As far as the O'Tackle S2, guys, I've tested this on a lot of these cheaper seatbelt cutters, and this is the real deal. This is the O'Toole TC4. It's titanium. It has a butterfly design. So you bring it around, and if you're into butterfly knives, which you can see that I am not, one thing I think is funny is when you go to Blade Show, there's guys in the corner, just these young guys, just whipping these things around. But this is a fork, which is very unusual. You do have a wrench here for small bolts. You do have a bottle opener. It is made from titanium. There are some stainless steel points here, but the fork, everything else is titanium. One of the things too on the end, it does have a carbide tip, which again makes this more of an emergency tool, but yet you do have a fork. So if you need to eat something, well, there you go. It's flat, that way it fits into here. This is a very unique design. It's different. You know, it can be used, put in your pack. If you needed to eat something, you know, you can fork it and you can pierce it, but you know, it's not rounded off like a standard fork, but still could be used. It does have a magnetic property right here. It's a very light magnet, but it just holds this together, and so very lightly. If you shake it, it will come loose, but you can see it stays in place, and so it just gives you just a different type tool. While this is not necessarily something that I'm excited about, I'm sure there's somebody that is. Guys, this is one thing though that I just had to bring back. I have been very pleased with this billfold. It's what they call Obuy. It's just an EDC billfold. One of the things though that really surprised me when I first got it, it has this chassis system in it. I typically don't like that. I'm just not a fan. I know a lot of guys like it, but this is something that I'm just not fond of. Once I got this out and started using it, I love it. And I think the leather around it, it just feels like a standard billfold, and yet you have the advantages of this aluminum chassis. And then you have an area here for your driver's license, and of course I had to take all that out. But this is where, you know, you have your ID. It is clear, so you can just show it. One thing I love about the card holder, and I had to take my other credit cards out or bank cards, is you can just take and push your thumb and it just comes right out. It just slips right out just like this. And you'll notice there is some resistance, even when I'm putting it in, because there are stoppers on either side that hold the cards in place. But it makes it really easy to be able to bring out. You could have one card in here and it would hold secure. So this I really like. It just opens up. And then, of course, you know, having extra room back here, which for your different ID and things like that. On the front, they have a small little sleeve. And here you can keep whatever you want. You can keep an extra card. Of course, I keep some cash right here where I can get right to it. And it'll take a lot more cash than that. Then also here on the back. Now this is a little bit unique. So if I have one card that I'm using all the time, I can just slip it in here and then I can get right to it without even opening the billfold. It'll also go in this top section as well. And then it has this area right here for your key. So if you have a spare key, which I locked myself out of the house the other day, you can slip that spare key in there and it stays secure. And you can pull it all the way down just to keep it in place. But that way, you've got a spare key, you can get quick to your cards, you can even put a second card in there. It just makes it a really nice option. Now, to be honest, I don't usually carry a key in here. I carry it just flat, but it's very comfortable to wear. The snap, solid, nice. I have not had it to come loose. It takes just not an excessive force, but just a little bit to pull that off. But great billfold, love it, and just wanted to show it again because I just really like this billfold. Now here we have the Otackle D1, and this is a titanium multi-bit driver. Very small in size. In fact, it's 3 inches by 1/2 inch. You have a nice lanyard that comes with it. With this, you have a little secret compartment. So you open it up, and it reveals bits that are inside. There's a small little detent right here that holds this in place, so it's really solid. It's not just going to come open on you. The bits themselves are magnetic. They are S2 steel, and they're deep inside, and there are 4 of them. So we're going to dump them out, and so it gives you 4 different options to be able to use, actually 8 different heads. We close it up, and then here is your driver, so we can just place the bit right there in the driver. This is a Torx. They have Phillips head, flat head, and we have a hex wrench as well. So a very small size tool, but very useful and very versatile. Also, on the side here, we have another bit driver if you need to get a different way to be able to get something in there. And so here, this one is not magnetic, but the one in the front is. And so it holds it right into place. But just a very simple but very cool tool. I mean, being titanium, it makes it really light. And you just place each one inside. It's going to hold it together. And then close it up, and that detent, you feel it lock in. So really cool tool, very well made. That brushed titanium looks great, and it's really small in your pocket. Now here's something that is very simple, but something that, especially if you like to hike or get out in the woods, this is a great item to have. It is the Whistle 2, and it's made from titanium. It weighs 0.95 ounces, so it is extremely lightweight. Has a small little button compass in here, and then the whistle, of course, right here, and it has two sides. It is a loud whistle. We'll check it out, but very small item. Has a little loop here to be able to attach it to wherever you want to, onto your backpack, a lanyard, whatever you want to do, and it gives you emergency compass, emergency signaling with the whistle. And it's 2 inches in length, and it's about just a little under 3/4 of an inch across. And it sounds something like this. So it's going to be loud. So guys, EDC, it's a very personal thing, a very personal choice, and sometimes you just want to change some things around. And just like when I picked up this billfold from Obuy, and guys, I never would have thought I'd liked it, but once I had it in my hand, I've been wearing it ever since. One of the best billfolds I've ever had. There's just a lot of cool items that are just different, and a lot of smaller companies here in the US that are offering products on the Obuy website, which is also a plus. Things you're just not going to see anywhere else. So check out Obuy. Again, the link's down below in the description. You get a 10% off using Sootch00. It'll take you straight to the website. But again, that discount does not work during sale events. And currently, their Black Friday sale is going on from November 16th at 8 p.m. to November 27th at midnight. And we really appreciate Obuy for sending these items for us to show you guys. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The blade length is 4 point. Now they're having their Black Friday sale, and it's tonight. Okay. Great little knife, and this is the Century. This is the Century. It's not the Century. I don't like that either. I don't like none of that. On non-sale. Okay, let's start that over. Let's just start it over. There are just some things on there that are just gonna trip your trigger, and that's just not gonna work. Our watch, if we wear a watch, knives, face, and tinky chase.